When disaster strikes and the grocery stores go dark, 99% of preppers will starve within weeks. Not because they didn't prepare, but because they prepared wrong. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the exact 5 foods that will keep you alive, fueled, and thriving when everything falls apart. These aren't trendy superfoods or expensive meal kits. They're the same staples that have kept civilizations alive for thousands of years. Miss even one of these and you'll feel the difference. Get all 5 right and you'll outlast the chaos while others burn through their emergency supplies. Welcome to U.S.A. Prepper, where we cut through the noise and give you real survival strategies that actually work. If you're serious about being prepared, hit that like button and subscribe, because what you're about to learn could save your life. Let's start with the foundation, the 2 foods that form the backbone of every serious survival stash. First up, rice. Rice isn't just another food item, it's the dividing line between those who are truly prepared and those who are just playing at prepping. You can have all the gear, fancy meal kits, and tactical supplies you want, but if you don't have rice, you're not prepping, you're cosplaying. Rice is cheap, effective, and unstoppable. It's the foundation of civilizations, the crop that built empires and fed armies. In a survival scenario, rice is the ultimate force multiplier. Pair it with beans and you've got a complete protein. Add canned veggies and you have a full meal. Even with just oil and salt, rice can carry you through. Let's talk about the math that actually matters. A 50-pound bag of rice costs around $25 and provides thousands of calories, real survival calories, not the snack energy you get from overpriced protein bars. When you do the calorie-per-dollar calculation, rice obliterates 99% of survival foods on the market. In a disaster, those with overpriced meal kits will be starving after 5 days, while rice stockpilers will still be eating comfortably weeks later. But survival isn't just about calories, it's about morale. In crisis mode, food is more than fuel, it's comfort and security. A hot plate of rice feels like a meal. It tricks your brain into feeling safe and boosts your spirits when everything around you is falling apart. Compare that to choking down another bland survival bar, and it's clear who will break first mentally. Now, storing rice properly is absolutely crucial. You can't just toss a sack into the pantry and call it done. Rice stored wrong will betray you to bugs, moisture, and rot. The formula for long-term storage is simple: Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, and food-grade buckets. Done right, that $25 sack becomes a 30-year survival investment. Rice you buy today can outlive you and still feed your grandchildren. Here's what most people don't realize. Rice prices are rising fast. Droughts, wars, and export bans are hitting global supplies hard. One more global shock, and rice could double in price overnight. In a crisis, you won't just be able to walk into a store and buy more. You'll be fighting desperate crowds for a bag that costs twice as much, if you can even find it. The quiet preppers who stock rice now will be calm, full, and unbothered when chaos hits. But rice alone isn't enough. You need its perfect partner. If rice is the backbone, beans are the muscle, the raw power that turns starch into a survival machine. Beans are non-optional. They're non-negotiable. Without beans stacked next to your rice, your prep stash is just a Pinterest project waiting to fail. Here's why beans matter so much. They replace meat in a survival scenario. When you combine rice and beans, you get the same complete protein profile as steak, chicken, or fish, without the need for refrigeration, hunting, or spending a fortune. Civilizations have thrived for centuries on beans and rice, while those chasing luxuries often starved. Many modern preppers make rookie mistakes. They load up on chips, candy, sugary cereal, and overpriced jerky. Meanwhile, beans sit there ignored on the shelf. But beans fill you up, fuel you steadily, and keep you moving when everything else runs out. Let's talk storage. Dry beans are your long-haul arsenal. Stored properly in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, they last 20 to 30 years. That's not just food, it's generational wealth in edible form. You're literally securing nutrition for decades with a single investment.
Canned beans offer a different advantage: instant convenience. No soaking, no fuel, no waiting. In a blackout or fuel shortage, canned beans mean you're eating full meals while others wait for the power to come back on. Keep both types in your stash for maximum flexibility. Now let's talk economics, because this is where beans absolutely destroy the survival industry. A pound of dry beans costs $1 to $2 and provides 6 to 8 hearty servings, real protein for less than 20 cents a meal. Even canned beans at under $1 a can outperform those $300 survival buckets filled with freeze-dried mystery powder. And just like rice, beans are experiencing serious market pressure. Droughts, shipping shortages, and political chaos have caused prices to spike 15 to 20% recently. When the next disruption hits, beans will vanish off shelves faster than toilet paper during a pandemic. Here's the bottom line: beans are the muscle in your...
Rice alone will keep you alive. Rice plus beans will keep you thriving. Together, they're the greatest food alliance in human history. If your pantry doesn't include them in bulk, your plan isn't worth the shelf it sits on. Now let's move to the energy system, the foods that keep you sharp, fueled, and ready to work when survival demands it. First in this category, oats. Oats are the underdog of survival food. They're ignored, shrugged off, and left behind on store shelves by people who don't know better. But when disaster strikes, those who stocked oats in bulk will have a light, fast, steady fuel source, while others burn half a day's propane just to make beans edible. Most people prep like children when it comes to breakfast. They load up on sugary cereals and comfort foods that offer a quick rush and then a crash. In survival, you can't afford that. You need fuel that carries you through hours of hard work, not just minutes of artificial energy. Oats provide steady, sustained energy. They're complex carbohydrates that release slowly, keeping your blood sugar stable and your body working efficiently. No crashes, no desperate hunger pangs an hour later, just clean, reliable fuel. But oats aren't just for oatmeal. They're a blank canvas. Make them sweet with honey, fruit, or milk powder. Make them savory with broth, bouillon, or canned meat. Grind them into flour for bread, tortillas, or pancakes. Add them to soups to bulk out calories and make your meals go further. Oats adapt to what you have and stretch your pantry without bloating it with unnecessary items. Here's another massive advantage: efficiency. Survival isn't just about food, it's about fuel. Rice and beans are great, but they require time, water, and energy to cook properly. In a world where firewood, propane, and clean water are precious resources, that's a serious liability. Oats need only a splash of hot water and they're ready in minutes. In desperate times, you can even eat oats raw if you have to. For storage, rolled oats last 1 to 2 years sitting in your pantry, but stored in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, they can last up to 10 years. Steel-cut oats and whole oat groats go even further, 20 to 30 years if stored correctly. Just seal them in smaller vacuum-packed portions so you don't compromise your entire stash every time you open a bag. Let's talk about the economics. A 42-ounce tub of oats costs under $5. That's weeks of breakfasts for pocket change. You're eating real fuel for under 50 cents a meal compared to those $12 survival bars or $300 emergency buckets. And yes, oat prices are rising too. They've spiked 15% in some markets due to droughts and shipping chaos. Grain markets are fragile. One war, one export ban, one major flood, and oats will disappear from shelves just like everything else. Oats are survival gold. Fast, light, versatile, filling, and fuel efficient. They keep you sharp, steady, and ready to outwork the competition. Ignore oats, and you'll regret it the first morning you wake up hungry and out of fuel to cook a proper meal. The second part of your energy system is flour, or better yet, wheat berries. Flour isn't just food, it's civilization in powder form. If your prepper stash doesn't include flour or wheat berries, you're not surviving, you're suffering. And here's why. Flour is about more than calories. It's about morale. In survival, morale is as critical as water. Lose morale, you quit, you give up, you break. Flour keeps you in the fight. Survival isn't about choking down bland mush day after day. It's about turning scraps into meals that remind you you're still human.
Beans by themselves are miserable. Beans with tortillas are a feast. Oats getting boring? Mix in some flour and you've got pancakes. Even with no yeast or baking powder, flour transforms into flatbreads that travel easily, fill your stomach, and remind you of home. With yeast or baking powder, you unlock even more: biscuits, bannock, survival bread, and more. These are foods that make you feel human again in the middle of chaos. But here's the problem. Flour doesn't store as well as rice or oats. A 10-pound bag sitting in the pantry will go rancid or buggy in a year or less. That's where serious preppers get smart. Seal flour in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, and you can stretch its life to 5 years or more. For true long-term storage, stock wheat berries. These are whole wheat kernels in their raw form. Stored in food-grade buckets with oxygen absorbers, wheat berries last decades. When you need flour, you grind them fresh. Fresh ground flour is more nutritious and doesn't carry the rancidity risk of store-bought. Economically, flour is dirt cheap for now. $5 to $7 for a 10-pound bag. That's pennies per serving. Less than a quarter for a stack of tortillas, 50 cents for a family-sized loaf of bread. Compare that to those $300 emergency buckets offering powdered slop that tastes like cardboard. But wheat prices have spiked double digits in the last 2 years. Droughts, fertilizer shortages, and export bans are hammering global supplies. That $5 bag of flour could soon cost $15 or $20, if you can even find it. When food shortages hit, bread is always the first thing people riot over. History proves this again and again. Flour is not optional. It's meant.
It stretches calories, keeps morale alive, and transforms desperation into normalcy. Without it, you're scraping by. With it, you survive with dignity. Now we come to the wild card, the food most people overlook but absolutely cannot survive without. I'm talking about fat. Carbs and protein will carry you for a while, but without fat, you're doomed. Your brain, body, and hormones all collapse without fat in your diet. History has a name for this: rabbit starvation. Eating nothing but lean meat and greens can literally kill you if fat is missing from your diet. This is where peanut butter comes in. Peanut butter is the wild card of survival foods. It's the item that separates those who think they're prepared from those who actually are. It's calorie-dense, versatile, and comforting all at once. A single spoonful holds nearly 200 calories of fat, protein, and satisfaction. A jar can carry you through a day of hard labor without even touching the stove. In a world of repetitive survival meals, peanut butter brings both comfort and fuel. Spread it on hot flatbread. Stir it into oatmeal for richness and extra calories. Mix it into beans for a richer, more filling meal. On the move, peanut butter requires no cooking, no fire, no fuel. Just open the jar and eat. Storage-wise, peanut butter outperforms many other fat sources. Oils often go rancid within months, especially in fluctuating temperatures, but a sealed jar of peanut butter can last 1 to 2 years, often longer if stored in a cool, dark place. For survival purposes, processed shelf-stable versions are better than natural oil-separating ones. If peanuts aren't an option due to allergies or availability, almond butter, sunflower butter, or tahini can substitute, but none of them match peanut butter's combination of cost, calories, and storage stability. Oils like olive or coconut can supplement your fat intake, but peanut butter remains the anchor. Here's something most people never consider: barter value. In a survival economy, everyone will have rice or beans, but not everyone will have fat. That scarcity turns peanut butter into currency. In tough times, a jar of peanut butter can be traded for medicine, candles, fresh produce, or whatever else you need. Its value comes from both its nutrition and the morale boost it provides. Economically, peanut butter is a powerhouse. A 16-ounce jar costs $2 to $4 and delivers close to 3,000 calories. That's less than 15 cents per 100 calories. You won't find better value anywhere in the survival food world. And yes, peanut butter prices are rising too. Peanut crops are under strain, with prices up nearly 10% in the last year due to droughts and rising production costs. When the next crisis hits, peanut butter will vanish from shelves just like everything else. Peanut butter is a survival tool, comfort food, calorie bomb, and barter item all in one. It gives your body what it can't live without, lifts your spirits when times are dark, and provides ready-to-eat energy when you need it most. Stockpile it now, and you'll be eating well when others are scraping the bottom of their last can. So, there you have it. These 5 foods, rice, beans, oats, flour or wheat, and peanut butter, aren't just smart choices. They're the line between thriving and barely scraping by when everything goes sideways. They cover your calories, your nutrition, your energy, and your morale. These aren't nice-to-haves. They're the bare minimum difference between strength and weakness. Once supply chains break, no amount of regret will put them back in your pantry. Don't wait for the crisis to hit. Prices are already rising across the board. Supply chains are already fragile. Global tensions are mounting. Start building your survival stash now. Store these foods properly using Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, and food-grade buckets. Rotate your stock, monitor market trends, stay ahead of the chaos. If this video opened your eyes to what real prepping looks like, smash that like button and subscribe to U.S.A. Prepper. Drop a comment and let me know which of these 5 foods you're stocking up on first. Are you team rice, team beans, or are you going all in on peanut butter? Let me know down below. Remember, survival doesn't start in a bunker. It starts in your pantry. Stay smart, stay